Yes, ladies and gentlemen, today we have this beautiful 2021 Tesla Model Y, and we have this beautiful 2021 Ford Mustang Mach-E. Now, a lot of you guys might have cross-shopped the two vehicles, so in today's video, we are going to be doing a comparison. We'll point out the similarities and the differences, so if you're thinking about making a purchase, hopefully this will help you make an informed decision. Now, this vehicle is courtesy of one of our local viewers in the area. His name is James, and he was kind enough to let us use his vehicle for the day. So a big shout out to James. Thank you very much. And real quickly, I have to point out that he is a really cool guy, because when we got to his house, he let us summon the vehicle from his garage, and he had Fleetwood Mac playing from his outside speaker. I would play it for you now, but for copyright reasons, we can't do that. But before we go into a deep comparison, you guys, we have to talk about the color of this vehicle, because this is wrapped in a bright blue gloss metallic color. And you guys, this is poppin'. This is a stunner of a Model Y. I'm loving how this looks. And you guys, real quickly, I have to do it. You guys, I have blue eyes. Look how well this goes together. I feel like I belong in this Model Y. Okay, but I also have to point out our Mach-E is also in a beautiful blue color. This is infinity blue. Get a close-up right here. I'm loving this color. Unfortunately, though, if you are thinking about buying the Mach-E, infinity blue has been discontinued by Ford. I think we might have bought the last infinity blue. Not really. I don't know that for sure. I don't know why they discontinued it, but it is available in a ton of other beautiful colors. To start our comparison, we're going to talk size of these vehicles. You could Google these numbers, they are right online for you. However, this mama is more of a visual person. So with us, I have our measuring eggplant, because you guys, you know every inch counts. Now, if we crouch down and we really compare the two vehicles, we can see that it looks like the Tesla Model Y is about 1 eggplant longer than the Mach-E. And that may not sound like a huge difference, but keep in mind, every inch counts. Am I right, ladies? And let's talk about width. Take a look at the Mach-E. You can see how wide it looks here. Now come with me as we compare it to the Model Y. And you can see the Model Y looks just a tiny bit wider. I think it's pretty negligible, really. But what I really want to point out while we're back here is these hips. Take a look at the hips of this Model Y. It is beautiful, voluptuous, curvaceous. Same thing here with the Mach-E. They've got some killer hips on both vehicles. As Shakira would say, these hips don't lie. And since we're back here, let's talk about height. You can see the two vehicles side by side, and the Model Y looks just a tiny bit taller than the Mach-E does. But both of these vehicles fall into the compact utility segment of the market. And even though you hear the word compact and you might be thinking small, once you're actually inside these vehicles, they're a lot bigger than they actually seem on the outside. And let's switch gears and let's talk about design of the vehicles, and we'll start back here. So this is of course the Mach-E, and you guys, this was a highly controversial car when it was released, and it still is today. And here's why. It's got the Mustang badge on it. It's an SUV, it's all electric, and it's got 4 doors. That is not your traditional Mustang. However, Ford did double down on the name, and they're bringing in those traditional Mustang aspects. You can see it's got the tri-bar taillight here. It's got the angular, muscular look. It looks really aggressive. It's really actually quite beautiful back here. Now they also have the back windshield wiper up here, and you guys, I really wish that they would have put it under the deck lid spoiler, just hidden it away. I think aesthetically it would have just made it a better design. Now this is completely different compared to the Model Y, so let's take a look here. Because you guys, Tesla continued with their design language. They went with their minimalistic look. It's simple, it's sleek, it's modern. All that we have back here are really the tail lights, which carry over from the Tesla Model 3, because the Model Y is basically a grown-up Model 3. And we have the Tesla T back here. But other than that, that's about it. There's not even a rear windshield wiper. But that's okay, because it really has a sloped back, so there's not really a need for a windshield wiper back here. But again, completely different looks, completely different design languages. And if you're considering buying one of these vehicles, I can probably guess 2 things about you. Number 1, you like vehicles that go fast. Number 2, you're probably carrying a lot of stuff. So let's check out the cargo space. Let me show you the junk in my trunk. And to do so, again, since I'm more of a visual person, I'm going to show you something from our daily life. And this is a full-size Bob jogging stroller. And you can see we have it fitting landscaping wise here. It's not going to fit portrait way, it just will not work. But you can see all around there is still space for other items. Maybe if you want to pick up a few groceries. And we have these side pockets here. They're not super deep, but just enough to put maybe a few wipes, some diapers. On this side, we've got a few snacks and some toys. And because this is an EV and it doesn't have an exhaust system, that means there is space for a sub-trunk. Now this isn't going to have a huge one, but it does have one nonetheless. So we'll take this stroller out and let me show you what we've got here. And looking underneath, you can see we have a tire repair kit. Very nice that Ford includes that just from the factory, but we also have a few other little toys back here. And you guys, I always keep a protein bar in the sub trunk because you guys, I don't want to drive with my husband when he's hangry. So I got him taken care of. Just enough stuff to fit underneath. And before we check out the Model Y, let me show you real quick. We do have a 12 volt back here, which is nice just to have. And let me point out this cute little Easter egg. On the light, there is a Mustang. So really cute. Love that touch by Ford. And now let's compare that with the Model Y. And this is where you're going to notice a lot of differences coming into play between the two vehicles. Right off the bat, you guys, take a look at how spacious this is. It already looks bigger. But let's start by talking about the sub-trunk. So right under here, you can see this sub-trunk is way bigger than the one on the Mach-E. You could fit a small child in here. Now, I'm not really going to put a child in there, but I know from experience from our own Model 3, we can fit a small to even a medium-sized suitcase in here. So definitely a lot more space there. Now let's talk about the top section. Take a look at how deep these pockets are, you guys. These are at least twice as deep as the ones on the Mach-E, and you have one on each side. Now here's the true test. Let's go ahead and fit the stroller in. And I'm actually going to try to fit it in both ways here because it looks so much bigger. So we'll put it in portrait ways first. That seems to fit no problem. Look at this extra room we have. Now we'll try it landscape wise. And again, that fits perfect too. And we have all of this extra space. So in comparing them, if you carry a lot of cargo with you, definitely take note of that. And before I show you the junk in my Frunk, let's talk about these side profiles of each vehicle. And we'll start by talking about the Model Y. Tesla chose to go with this coupe-like design. It looks sleek, it looks modern. I love this look. Now, this is a look that's being replicated with a lot of vehicles today, and Ford kind of did something similar. So you can see on the Mach-E, if you follow the paint line with your eye, it appears like there's a coupe-like design, but Ford did something that's kind of a little stealth-like here. You can see they actually extended the roof back like a traditional SUV, so it kind of gives it a little bit of extra functionality. If you want to stack things up in the cargo area, you have a little bit more space there. So they went with the functionality, but also they have the look of that coupe. So very smart, love this idea. Now let's continue in the front here and let's take a look at the wheels. If we look at the Model Y wheels, they are completely black. They almost have this turbine look here, and what I really appreciate is the fact that they have this cover. It kind of hides the lug nuts. A really good look, totally fits the Model Y. Now in comparison, let's take a look at the Mach-E. Completely different, you guys. I love that they have the Mustang here. The two-tone color is really working here. I really like that. But more than anything, even though these wheels are vastly different, what I love is that they are not your traditional boring EV wheel. They both look really cool. They both fit the cars really well. Let's talk about the front of the vehicles, and we'll start with the Mustang Mach-E. And you guys, take a look here. The first thing you see is this Mustang. Ford does not want you to forget what you're driving. They're clearly very proud of this vehicle. But come in for a little bit of a closer look, you guys, and you see these really strong, prominent, aggressive lines. I hope that comes across on camera as I'm seeing it. But this adds to a very muscular look. It's very strong. It's a little bit menacing too. But what I love even more, come over here and take a look at these daytime running lights. They have the tri-bar effect just like your traditional Mustang. And what I really love is when I pull up to a vehicle and I can see the reflection of my daytime running lights in their bumper. I love how that looks. This is probably, to me, one of the sexiest SUVs on the market. So I love this. Now let's go ahead and let's look at the Model Y because it's also a stunning look, but completely different. Again, this is like a more mature Tesla Model 3. We have the Model 3 lights here, but that's about it. We have the Tesla T, but other than that, it is smooth, it's sleek, it's very minimalistic. I think it's kind of futuristic, really. No grille at all, because it's an EV, it doesn't even need one, and Tesla is proud of that. So loving this look here. Again, completely different, but it totally works. Starting with the Frunk on the Mach-E, here's something I really like. It fits a small carry-on suitcase without a problem, and look at how much space you have on the side here, you guys. You can fit another small bag, maybe even a person here. But what's really cool is the fact that Ford added a drain in here. So that means your Frunk can double as a cooler. Let me show you what I'm talking about. We lift this up, and here is your drain. Now, real world application, we've used this as a cooler probably one time. But what I really like is the fact that if you get carry out, you can put your food in the Frunk here. That way it won't smell up your cabin. And say, for example, you go to Chick-fil-A, you get a milkshake because your milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Your milkshake spills in the front here. You can just rinse it out and the mess is gone. So very smart. I love that Ford did that. Very genius. Now let's go ahead and look at the Model Y. We'll bring our suitcase. And we can see the suitcase, this one fits laying down, but again, not a problem to fit. You've got plenty of room on each side. You can even scoot the suitcase over a little bit, make it a little more spacious. Now, there's not a drain in the Model Y, but I don't think that's a huge deal. So overall, Mustang Mach-E, Tesla Model Y, both I give their Frunks a 10 out of 10. They did an excellent job. Very spacious. Now I do have to say, you would think all EVs would have a decent sized Frunk, but that is not the case. And I'm looking at you, ID4, Nissan Leaf, Jaguar I-Pace. You guys, the Jaguar I-Pace has a Frunk this big. It's big enough to fit a medium-sized Michael Kors purse. I know because I did it. So, loving these Frunks. Now let's talk about getting in the vehicles, because this is pretty crucial when it comes to owning them. Now, both vehicles are gonna come with phone as a key, and this is supposed to be your primary means of getting in your vehicle. But say for instance, you're on Instagram, you're watching too much of me on YouTube, and your phone dies, they do have alternates. So the Tesla comes with this key card, almost like a credit card, fits nicely in your wallet, and the Mustang Mach-E comes with this key fob here. So I have to say, in the 2.5 years that we have owned our Tesla Model 3, I've never had an issue using phone as a key getting in, and it's nice that if someone wants to borrow the vehicle, I can give them this key card. Now, when we talk about the Mustang Mach-E, we've owned that for 9 months. I have to say, using phone as a key probably works maybe 50% of the time. So I've just resorted to carrying the key fob with me at all times, because it's very frustrating when I go to the grocery store and I come out with bags on my arms because mama not making 2 trips. When I'm carrying all those bags and I can't get in because my phone isn't connecting, I just always carry the key fob with me now. Okay, now let's take a look at the Model Y first. And before we even get in, you guys, look at this door handle. It is seamless, it's flush. I love how they integrated it into the door. Very simple to enter, just like the Model 3. Now let's take a look inside here. Now James chose to go with the white interior, and you guys, this is poppin'. I love this so much. Even though other automakers offer white as a color, I have not seen a white as bright as Tesla's yet. So loving the inside. Take a look at these seats, very nicely constructed, and I like that they carry the white through the dash also and onto the door panel. So let's go ahead, let's hop inside, and we'll check out the rest. This is where you're going to decide if a Tesla is for you or not. And this is why. Take a look at how different this vehicle is. The only buttons that are in this vehicle are these 2 scroll wheels right here, and we have the hazard button up top. Other than that, that is it. Everything else is going to be done by the touchscreen here. Even your gear shifter is right next to the steering wheel. This is how you do everything with the car, drive, reverse, park, all done here. Also, quickly take note of how minimalistic even the dash is. The air vents are seamlessly integrated in there. you can't even tell where they are, but this is what I love. Let's talk about this 15-inch touchscreen, you guys, and this is why I love it. It's user-friendly, it's so intuitive, it's touch-sensitive. Now we have all of our essentials right at the bottom here. So if you're like me and you are cold-natured, you can really easily turn on your heated seats. If you want to adjust the temperature, done right here. We have our music. Let's bring that up. And what I love here, you guys, we have karaoke. So if you want to jam out to Britney Spears, you can do so right there. Also, what I also love here is that you can connect it to Spotify. That's one of my favorites. Now moving on, here's another key thing that makes the Tesla so nice. Anything you want to control on the car, again, done from this screen. I can very easily open the frunk, the trunk, I can lock it, unlock it, even the charge port, pop it open right there. Now let's talk about the map here. This is really cool because it offers a sat view. I love that. It's touch sensitive. It will really go wherever my finger needs it to go. Also, if I want to look at any charging stations, I can pull it up instantly by pushing that button. It'll show me the ones nearest me. And if I want to scroll out, it'll show me chargers across the nation. So really cool. Again, just really user-friendly. It kind of reminds me of an Apple iPhone. If I were to design a car or like software like this is how I would want it to be. And while you're charging, you might want some entertainment. And instead of looking at your tiny phone screen, you can actually watch something on this beautiful 15-inch screen. Let's go to entertainment. And you guys, you have all of your options here. Netflix, Hulu, you can keep up with Squid Games. Or if you're got a little kid like we do, Disney Plus is his favorite. Or let's be real, you guys, I know you are watching my channel on YouTube. You can watch all of that here, or you can play some games. There are lots to choose from. So I love how Tesla integrates this. It's like they know you're going to be charging, so they want to keep you entertained. I feel like they really bring, like, I don't know, cars to the next level with how thoughtful they are and everything that's included. And as cool as all of these features are, you guys, we can't overlook the fact that there is only one screen in this vehicle. There is no driver's display. So if you are dead set on having a driver's display, this vehicle might not be one for you. For me, personally, when we got our Model 3 that just has the one display, it took me, honestly, probably about a week to adjust to it, but now it's completely second nature for me. I mean, the Mach-E that we'll see in a minute, that has a driver's display. Again, they both just become second nature once you start using them, at least for me. So you really have to decide if this is going to be for you or not. Let's continue down and we'll look a little bit more into this area here because again, it looks very minimal, but it has a lot of functionality. We have a phone charging station right here. Opening up here, we have another little area for storage that's pretty deep. Going back, we have dual cup holders. And in the console, we have one shallow tray and then a deeper area here. So it can fit all of your essentials. And you guys, I have to note, probably one of my favorite features of owning a Tesla and the Mach-E is the glass roof. This is what makes these vehicles feel so open and airy and spacious. This is something that I absolutely love. So now let's go hop in the back and I'll show you how much legroom we have. Sitting in the back, just for frame of reference here, my husband is 5'10" and he adjusted the driver's seat to where he would normally drive. I'm 5'4", a little bit shorter, but good things come in small packages. But looking here, you guys, I have plenty of legroom. Look at this. And what I really like is the fact that Tesla thought about this. They put the front seats kind of on stilts, so if you do have longer legs, you can completely extend your feet under the seat without a problem. Also, speaking of the floor, it is very expansive back here, but what makes it so expansive is the fact that there's no transmission hump because it's electric. So if you want to ride the hump, you won't be doing it in the car. You might have to do that at home in your bedroom, or just lay the seats down. Also, let's talk about the coupe-like design that we talked about earlier. You might think that that might cut off your headroom back here, but look at this, you guys. I have got plenty of room. Again, it feels airy, it feels spacious. I've got the cup holders back here, so if I want to get my drink on and watch a movie, I can do that from the comfort of my own vehicle. And another thing they've got here are 2 USB-C ports along with these air vents, and the back seats are heated, so definitely something to consider if you have a lot of passengers in your car. Now let's go compare that to the Mustang Mach-E. One of the first things you notice about the door of the Mach-E is that there's no door handle that's integrated into it. The push button design is actually right here. This is how you get into the vehicle. You would simply push on that button and it pops open just a little bit to where you can grab it and pull it the rest of the way. But before we get into the vehicle, let me share with you something else that Ford did here. You can see they have a door code right here. So say for instance, if you want to leave your phone and key fob in your car and go for a run, you can lock the vehicle and then easily get back into it. Now that's not something I use all the time, but when I do, I'm glad that it's there. Now let's hop inside, you guys. And this looks right off the bat a little bit more like your traditional vehicle that you might be used to. You can see right off the bat you've got the two displays. You do have a 15.5-inch display here, so a ½ inch bigger than the Tesla, and we have a driver's display up top. But let's talk about these seats, you guys. Let's talk about the stitching here. You can see it is beautifully designed. You can tell it's expertly crafted. Let's talk about the rest of the vehicle, so hop inside with me. Right off the bat, getting into this vehicle, you can tell that Ford went with a more traditional design. And let me tell you, my personal opinion, Ford hit it out of the park, you guys. This looks great. Take a look at what I mean. We have this double bubble dash, very reminiscent of bringing in like that Mustang-esque-ness into the vehicle. I like how they pulled that in. Also, we can't miss this, people. There's a Mustang right on the steering wheel. Ford doesn't want you to forget what you're driving. Now, you can notice right off the bat, the steering wheel has a few more buttons than the Tesla does, but I don't think it's overdone. I think it's probably the perfect amount of buttons for the steering wheel. And take quick note, you guys, we do have some carbon fiber texture in here, you guys, and I love that look personally, so this to me is awesome. Big thumbs up. And you cannot miss the fact, you guys, that there are two displays here. We have the driver's display right here. It's going to give you all of your pertinent information when you're driving, and we have a 15.5-inch portrait screen, so you do get a ½ inch more than the Tesla. Again, in portrait mode, I'm more of a fan of like the horizontal screens, but I have adjusted to the vertical one. Here's where things get a little different. Let's talk about software, because this runs off of Sync 4. I have to tell you, I'm not a huge fan of Sync 4. Personally, I find it to be laggy. I don't find it to be as intuitive. I'm not a fan. So if you do go with this vehicle, use Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Also, good to know, if you are a diehard fan of Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, the Tesla does not run that, so then this vehicle might be for you. If you do choose to use a system that's built into Ford, again, I do find it just to be a little laggy. You don't get that sat view. It's just slower in general. So I always use Apple CarPlay. Now that being said, I do have to say, Apple CarPlay probably works maybe 50% of the time. Sometimes it just won't even connect. Real life example, on our way to James's house this morning, we were using Apple CarPlay for our Google Maps. It completely froze for at least like 15-20 minutes. So I had to follow directions actually on my phone because the system was not even working at all. It was very frustrating, and I realize this is my car and I love it, you guys, but that cannot happen to me. That's very frustrating. Also, when we go a little bit further on the screen, it really doesn't offer as many options as the Tesla does. The Tesla has lots of entertainment options. This one, as of right now, we do have Notepad, and you can see it takes just a little while to get pulled up here. So if you wanted, you could play just a few games, but you guys, to me, this is a little bit too basic. We've owned this vehicle for 9 months, and I still have a little bit of trouble like finding things. I feel like some things are kind of buried a little bit too deep in the menus here. And again, sometimes things take a little bit longer to get pulled up. Not to just completely down the system, what I do love is that they do offer the 3 drive modes. I think that's really fun. I always like to stay in unbridled personally. And another thing I love here is that it offers the bird's eye view. The Tesla does not do that. So I love having that as a system. I honestly wish that they would make the Mach-E's here and here. I wish they would match the color of your Mach-E that you bought. And it's a small thing, but I feel like it would be a really cool touch. One thing that's really deep in the menu here, and it's kind of fun, it's not really like a make it or break it when you're buying the vehicle, is ambient lighting. If you scroll down to the bottom, you can find this option here, and you can change the lights of the colors inside the vehicle, and you can adjust the intensity here if it will let you. There we go. But one thing to note, you guys, it is party in the front, business in the back, because the rear passengers don't get that ambient lighting. I feel like it would be more fun if they did. It would kind of make it feel like a party bus. Again, not a make it or break it thing. But one thing that is a make it or break is this glass roof here. So take a look here. If you are considering the Mustang Mach-E, the glass roof is available starting at the premium trim level. This is not available in the Select model. In the Select, you will get the metal roof. For me, that alone makes up the price difference. So if you can afford it, that's definitely one that I would get. Also, let's talk about this console area, you guys. So here we have a phone charger, and please note that the phone charger is only available for the left driver here on the left side. This is wireless charging. If you're a passenger and you want to wirelessly charge, you're kind of SOL. Unless you bring your cord, then we have a USB-C here, and you can charge your phone that way. Moving a little bit further down the line, we do have the gear selector here. That's a rotary dial. Coming up here, lifting up this armrest, we do have a pretty deep compartment. You can see we've got a lot of snacks in here. Clearly we have kids. And there is a 12 volt in here, which is very handy to have also. Something else that goes just a little bit above and beyond, you guys, is that there is more storage right underneath here. We've got a little bay where you can store things. Usually I keep an umbrella there, but multi-levels of storage, so very handy to have. Now let's jump in the back and I'll show you the legroom there. And again, just a reminder, my husband is 5'10" and I have his seat in his driving position. I'm 5'4", a little bit shorter. But look at the space I have back here, you guys. There is plenty of legroom, as you can see. Foot-wise, now these seats are not on stilts, and the top of my feet, it is hitting the bottom of the chair. It's not painful or anything like that, but you don't have as much room as I did in the Model Y. Looking here, we also have some vents in the back and a USB-C charger down there. Also important to note, there are no heated seats in the back. Wah, wah, wah. But that's okay because there is still plenty of room back here, very spacious, no transmission hump again, so humping is gonna have to happen somewhere else. But also, if you do have a family, I have fit 3 full-size car seats across the back here. It was really tight, but it is doable. I wouldn't necessarily do it on like a long road trip, but if you're in a pinch, they will totally work. And looking at the roof, you guys, I do have plenty of room. Take a look at this. Definitely not in danger of hitting my head on anything. Overall, again, very pleased with this inside design. And because these are EVs, we have to talk about charging. Now this Tesla Model Y, it's a dual motor, so that means it has all-wheel drive, and it has a range of 326 miles. So that means you can go really far. But more importantly, that means you can utilize the Tesla supercharging network. Now from personal experience, we have traveled up and down the West Coast, up and down the East Coast, and across the country from Washington State to Washington, D.C. The Tesla superchargers have always worked and we've never had any issues. Now let's talk about the Mach-E. Now this Mach-E is the standard range, which means it has a range of 230 miles. But if we were to choose a trim level that would directly compare with James's Model Y, that's going to be the premium extended range all-wheel drive, which has a range of 270 miles. So a little bit less. Now, even though both vehicles can charge at home if you're driving around town or shorter road trips, where things are really going to be different is when you're going on long road trips. Now again, the Tesla Model Y, that can charge at the Tesla superchargers, no problem, like we talked about. The Mach-E, on the other hand, that is solely dependent upon third-party chargers. Now from our own experience, we have had a few stress-inducing charging experiences. So a few things to consider. If you are a person who travels around town or does shorter road trips, the Mach-E might be a good fit for you. If you're a person who travels longer distances more frequently, then you might want to really evaluate the Model Y. Now let's talk price points. For this dual motor Model Y, that comes in at approximately $55,000. For the Mach-E, now the starting price is going to be $42,000, but for the trim level that directly compares to this one, you're looking at the premium extended range all-wheel drive Mach-E. That also starts at approximately $55,000 too. So very similar price points for two very different EVs. In addition, each vehicle comes with its own version of driver's assist. So for Ford, that means Co-Pilot 360. So that's going to be intelligent cruise control, lane keeping, lane centering, and it works really well. Tesla also comes with its own version, which is called Autopilot, so it'll do similar things with lane keeping and lane centering. Now, James also purchased FSD, full self-driving, which is an additional $10,000, but what that means is one day he will hopefully be able to enter in a destination and the car will drive him there. Now, this also comes with the summon feature, so that means you can move the car forward and backward without you being actually behind the wheel. And if you're within 150 feet, you can summon the car to your location. So maybe you're shopping at Target and you come out and it's pouring rain, you could summon the car directly to the door to pick you up. So really cool features. So let's wrap this up and we'll start with the Mustang Mach-E. If you're someone who likes aggressive looks, if you're maybe not the techiest of persons, or if you're going on really short road trips and you want an EV that's an SUV, then the Mustang Mach-E would be a great fit for you. And it's not a Tesla. To some people, that's a big deal. Now, on the other hand, if you're someone who loves tech, if you go on long road trips, if you like minimalism, if you like futuristic looks, then the Tesla would be a great fit. Overall, again, both vehicles are really awesome, just completely different. Well, that's all we've got for this video. Again, a big thank you to James for letting us use his Model Y today. If you have any questions or comments, drop it below. We would love to hear from you. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps our channel to grow so we can make more videos for you. Well, that's all I've got. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.